This is going to be the training for paper. So Cmyk offers a vast array of paper. For business cards, we offer 10 point, 12 point, 14 point, 16 point, and 18 point. We don't sell too many 18 point. 10 point is for like somebody needs like a rush. We offer the 10 point stock because it's faster to run through the press. Then we offer different finishes for the 10 point or the business cards or flyers. So I want everyone to feel the silk. I'm going to put it out here. This is silk laminate right there. Now the reason why it's called silk laminate is it doesn't mean that it was made that way. It means that it was printed on the stock, then was run through a laminator to apply a silk laminated film on top. Okay? The silk lamination is available on the 16 point only. Most laminations are going to be available only on a 16 point. So we have the silk and we have the velvet suede. Now if you hear suede or velvet, it's the same thing. It's not different. Let me pull out the suede feel so you can feel them. So this is the 16 point. You can't really see it on video, but I want you to feel the difference between the 16 point suede velvet and the silk laminate. Go ahead and feel both, so that way you are familiar with both material.
So why are they done on 16 point? Like, what makes that the optimal thickness?
I don't know. I think it's just that's what it's available in right now. 16 point is more durable, so when you run it through the laminator, maybe it sticks better. There's no reason behind it other than we don't offer it in any other stock. Obviously, if you're getting the best of the best, obviously you want it on 16, not 10 or 12 or 14 point. Why don't you guys trade and see if you can feel the difference between both?
Oh, I felt it. There's another page that had this. So
Okay, so you guys know both. Now on the silk laminate, you are able to get spot UV, and you're also able to get sparkling foil, which is another name. Another name would be Aquafoil. So if you hear the words sparkling or aqua foil, you are getting the same thing. Okay, what is sparkling or aqua foil? You ask. It is Cmyk Foil. Does anyone know what Cmyk Foil means?
it's
It's a combination of inks, right?
It's
like not Pantone, not printed with a specific.
It's
But
not. Yeah, it's not a
there's-
specific color. It's you. If you wanted your picture, your actual photo in sparkling foil, it can be done. Okay, or Aquafoil. Those are the two names for it. Can I see that book? I want to pull out a sparkling foil so I can actually show you what it looks like. I want to show you everything, every different stock we have here. All right. Sparkling foil or aqua foil, do you see that? It has all the colors and you can make a picture out of it. Now it's not easy to make a picture out of it because the designers have to do their magic behind this in order for it to become the way it is. Like for example, Aquafoil. If someone gave you a file that says Aquafoil on it, or ABC Plumbing, and they said, I want it in the sparkling or Aquafoil. You say, okay, let's go. Let me send this to our graphics department so we can analyze the file for you and tell you what it needs to happen to make it like the ABC would be in red, green, and orange, and then plumbing would be in just blue. So you give it to the graphics department. The graphic design department will analyze the file, realize that it's not set up for Aquafoil and or sparkling foil. Those are the two names you need to learn: sparkling or aqua. If somebody says sparkling or Aquafoil, it's the same product. The designers will give you a price on how to create the print file for the sparkling or Aquafoil. And then you give it to the client. The client says, okay, let's do it. Get the job done. Let's go back to Suede or Velvet. The two names are the same. Suede and Velvet.
Can I see
Okay.
that? 'Cause I did have a question about the name.
About the name?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and feel it.
So I'm trying to go back. So this one says 16-point suede card with velvet lamination. So lamination is something that goes on after the card is printed.
Just like the silk.
So why would you choose a suede card?
It just feels rich. Like if you're an agency or a modeling agency or something in that you want to impress other people, you want to give them that suede feel.
What
Like
would
if
a
you're
suede card feel like if it wasn't laminated?
like a regular card. So basically all it is imagine a roll of velvet feel clear lamination. Okay? You know how have you ever used a laminator
Yeah.
before? The laminator has clear shiny film. Well, this is a clear
Texture.
velvety film or suede film.
So suede and velvet are not the same thing. Suede is the stock.
No, it's the same name. If somebody says suede or velvet, it's the same thing. Just like if they said aqua.
So can you order? This says suede card with velvet lamination.
It's the same thing. You can't get a suede card without velvet lamination. It's just they're explaining it in two different ways. Like some people could say it feels like suede. Some people could say it feels like velvet. It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's not the same thing in the real world when you're wearing a suede shoes or a velvet jacket. Okay, they're different.
But like silk, glam, and spot UV are not the same thing.
Silk glam is the lamination. A spot UV is the application that happens after the fact. Okay, so let's go back to suede UV, suede velvet lamination, okay, with raised UV. So I'm going to put this close so you guys can see what that is. This is actually raised. You can actually feel it. Go ahead and feel it. Now the raised UV and the raised foil right now is only available on the velvet suede finish. The raised UV and the raised foil right now is only available on the suede velvet finish. I'm going to continue to say suede velvet because it's the same thing. If I say suede, you know it's velvet. If I say velvet, you know it's suede. Okay? Now, the same thing with this. If someone comes to you and says, I need raised UV, you say, okay, let me take your files, send them to our design department to analyze. You send them to the graphics department. 99% of the time, they're not set up for raised UV or raised foil. So the designers will look at it, will create a file. They ask the customer, what do you want to be raised? The client says, I want this. I want only this to be erased, or I want only this to be erased. They create a next separate file, and that separate file is just black outlines of everything, or not outlines, like fillers. So they'll create a file that you see on the screen when we send the proof of a bunch of circles and little dots and this all in black. Then when we run it through our press, we print it CMYK, and then we run it again, and it is going to be the black file, and that black file translates into erased UV or erased foil. Any questions?
Okay, so if somebody wants if they say, "Oh, I want to raise spot UV," then you tell them, "Okay, well, it's going to be on a suede or velvet card."
Mm-hmm.
And to be suede or velvet, it's 16 point.
Everything specialty is going to be 16 point. Okay? Any specialty they want, let's say they just want spot UV, not raised. Because you can get spot UV, which is right here. See, this one's not raised, but you can still see there's areas that are spot. The designers will create these files, okay? And then it runs through our fifth station, and then you get the clear, you get this, okay? This is available on the 16 point silk, or just regular matte finish. So you can get it on the silk. And how do you know the difference between silk and matte? Because they kind of feel the same. The best way I can tell, if you can't tell the difference between silk and lamb, silk finish or matte finish, the best thing to do is take an extra business card and try to rip it. If it's hard to rip, it's going to be, it has a lamination on it. Because a vinyl or a clear lamination was applied onto the card, it makes the card more sturdy and you can't rip it. So that's the best way. Sometimes I have to guess. So the best way to do it is to try to rip it. If you try to rip it and it doesn't rip, it has a lamination on of some sort. Either velvet or silk or anything else.
Morning.
All right. So, do we understand the velvet suede?
I think so.
All right, cool. UV. This is available on all stocks. Just regular UV. What we do is we print it first and we run it through our UV coater, and it applies the UV coating on it, makes it shiny and clear. You see that?
What's the same as this one?
All right. Who can tell me what this is?
Aquafoil.
What's another name for it?
Sparkling foil.
Yep. So, as you can see, it's a CMYK foil. All right. Here's a 16 point silk with spot UV. You guys feel this already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think this is the first one we felt.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. 18 point stock is also something that we offer. With the 18 point stock, you cannot get UV on the back. You can only get UV on the front. Okay, so feel this paper and look at the back of it.
Why is it you can only get it on the front?
It's just the material that it comes in one-sided coated and the other side is uncoated. Uncoated means it's gonna have a matte finish like that, and then when you try to UV it, it doesn't look good. So if you're ever offering an 18-point business cards, make sure you tell the client that it does not come in two-sided UV. You can only get it one-sided UV. And if the client does not want to get UV on the front side, it's going to have a small, little bit of sheen to it, a little bit of gloss, but not UV. Another name for the stock that's coated on one side and not coated on the other, there is a print term for it. It's called C2S or C1S. C stands for coated, 2 for two-sided, 1 for one-sided. So C1S, if you hear that term, especially if you're trying to call our vendors to see what kind of stock we need to buy for a customer, if the customer needs something special, and then they say, oh, I got the 16-point in a C2S.
So
okay,
that would be a C1S.
this is a C1S. So that's a special term that's used by printers and vendors that we buy paper from, like Millcraft. And they will say that term, and they're going to expect you to know what that means. In case you call and they tell you, hey, I only have this in the C1S. Do you want it? You'll know what that means, and then you won't sound like you don't know what you're doing. Any questions on the 18-point C1S or C2S?
Is that 18-point generally only used for business cards? I've never seen us use it for flyers or anything like that.
No, yeah, it's only used for business cards as we speak
Okay.
right now. Here is matte, which looks so close to silk, okay, on the 16-point,
Oh, here.
okay? So if that was a business card and you want to know for sure if it's silk or not, I would just tear it, see if it tears. Don't tear the book though. It also comes in a 14-point matte, just slightly thinner. This is good so you can feel the difference between 16 and 14-point. You should feel them both. Most of the time I can tell by just feeling them if it's a 16 or a 14.
It's like, because the matte still has like somewhat of a sheen to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not as matty as I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's like the light hits it and kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
Well-
when I was thinking matte, I was thinking this uncoated. Like, that's what I was picturing.
The uncoated?
Yeah, like if I was thinking matte and I said those words, I would think more like this.
Okay. Do we have any questions on the hard stock before we switch over to the thinner stock?
I know I've overheard conversation about what is able to be folded or not folded. I know in business cards we're not going to be folding them, but
Sometimes we do. They call them tent business cards.
so how do we know what's able to be folded or what's going to crack?
All right. Great question, because I wasn't going to mention that because it wasn't on my thought. But everything can be scored and folded. Okay? So if you're running brochure material, we don't have to score it first. But if we're running 10 point, 14 point, 16 point, we have to score it before we fold it. Because if we don't score it, the machine's just going to run it in there and it's just going to bunch up and get messed up because it's too thick to fold. So what we have to do is run it through a machine, and then it's like a dull blade that comes down and it scores the paper and puts a line in it. Then you can fold it easy. Now, the reason why you think some things cannot be folded is because of a term, laser printer versus offset printer. Laser printer, when you print, like let's say you have a dark black or dark navy full coverage ink on there, and you score it and then you fold it, it's going to crack. The ink is going to crack and you're going to see white, and it's horrible and people hate it. So what we tell people is, if you're doing let's say 100 or 250 14 point like a folded birthday card, and it's got full coverage ink, you're going to see a crack. Okay, some people say, I don't care, I need it. Some people say, well, no way, I cannot have that.
So it's mostly the short run.
The short run versus the big runs. If we run that on an offset press, like running 1,000 or more, okay, we can actually not run it on our digital press and run it on the offset press. And the offset press ink is different than toner. When you score and fold ink, it doesn't crack. When you score and fold toner, it cracks. Now, you can get away with running toner if the card is white. So let's say you have a white card and then you have birthday wishes on the front. You open it up, it's got congratulations, it's your birthday, or Merry Christmas, or whatever the greeting is, thank you, and it's all white. You can score and fold. It's not, you're gonna see cracks, but it's white, so it's not gonna matter. But if it's dark colors, mainly dark colors, you can probably get away with like light colors, but dark colors, it's gonna look horrible because
More obvious.
it's obvious, because toner doesn't bend. Okay? And when you try to bend toner, it's going to crack. So everything can be folded. But if you're folding something with toner in it, it's going to crack and it's going to look horrible. Does anybody have any questions on cardstock material before we go into the softer material?
Not now.
All right. So this is a material that I would love to show you. This material here, it's called Endurace, but we call it, what do we call it? There's two names for it. Synthetic paper, okay?
Okay.
Or Teslin. Now this paper here, this one here is 10 point. We offer 14 point synthetics. And does anybody know why we need this material? For what application?
We usually use this for restaurant menus because of its waterproof ability.
Yes. So we don't use the Endurace because it's 10 point, and we don't like 10 point because it's flimsy. We use the 14 point synthetic that we offer. The 14 point feels like a business card if it's cut to size. It's waterproof, which means you can sink it in water and let it sit in water, take it out, it's still gonna look exactly the same. It's not gonna fall apart on you. And it's important for anyone that says, hey, I'm putting these on tables and I don't want them to get all messed up. I want to be able to clean them, and I want my waitresses to continue to reuse them. You want to use the synthetic paper. Now we use this Endurace for we call it Teslin, which is the name brand for it. It's thinner stock. It's like this thickness. We laminate this with a clear laminate or a matte laminate, and it becomes so thick it feels like a credit card. Okay? The reason we use synthetic, not paper, is whenever you laminate something and you cut it to size, that means not leave a clear edge on it, as soon as it touches water, you can separate it, okay? But if you're using this Endurace or Teslin material and you laminate it, because you're using synthetic with synthetic, and when you laminate it, they all bond together and become one, okay? They will never separate, even if you cut them down and there's no clear edge, okay? So let me grab an example here. This is a plastic card, like a credit card. Feel how thick that is.
So it's not actually plastic. When we think plastic cards, it's this with a laminate on it?
Yes. And we do that back here. We print the synthetic Teslin. And the Teslin is 10 point, which is 10 mil, like a 10 mil. And the laminate is 10 mil on one side or the other side.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
And it creates a 30 mil card. Brendan, I was explaining to them, we're doing a training.
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining to them how we create plastic cards.
Yep.
Okay?
When it's 30, we send it out.
Yep. So what we do is we print on the Tesla material. And then we send it off for lamination, and they do 10 mil and 10 mil, okay, to make 30 mil, and that's why it's so thick, okay? We laminate, it gets laminated. Brendan cuts them to size, and then he runs them through a round corner to round corner the edges. Now, the round cornering the edges is important because these edges are really sharp. So he round corners them, and it becomes nice and soft like that.
I love the credit card.
Yeah.
Hey, so quick question. Heat lamp, potting soil. You turn it into a grow shop out back there, or what we got going on? Doing baby steps, because you need better lights than that.
Yeah, we need to do something.
You know, way better lights. You know, I could probably make you a shelf out of something clear.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll just roll it out by the back door when the sun's coming in. Keep it up.
Well, we'll have a talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
Split some profits. I can get some pretty darn good seeds.
Hey,
Just
can
want to
we
let you know.
make the upstairs.
Half of our
Like,
clients
we're
will
all
Not
on
enough
shelf.
light. We'd have to really get some heavy light. And they pull
So,
a lot of power.
just want to let you know you are on video right now, so I don't know if you want to talk about that kind of stuff.
It's legal, man. It's like a
Yeah.
sack of
All right,
watches.
all right, sounds good. Okay, so the uncoated material, we talked about that. The uncoated material is a little bit more matte than the matte, just so you know. Okay. 14 point, let me see here.
The uncoated material, do we ever use that for business cards, or is that more for brochures? I don't think I've ever sold uncoated.
We don't sell them. We don't, honestly, we haven't sold them.
What?
But people like the glossy stuff. They, every once in a great while you get someone. So when you do get it, now you know what it does and what it means.
So it can be used for business cards, all of our postcards.
Sell sheets, trading cards.
But this is correct on the back.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Okay, so let's talk about books. I know a lot of people get confused. What the heck is the difference between 10 point and 100 pound? It's
Yes.
confusing, right? Like, why do you switch from 10 point to 100 point, to 100 pound? Like, what is the difference?
I feel like there should be a translation.
Yes. So I'm gonna make it as simple as possible for you.
Would you like a piece of each? Oh, you have it.
Yes, I do. Do you have anything to add to that, Brendan?
No, I could tell. I was going to say if you wanted to know the difference between 10 pound.
No, we have it right in
Okay.
here. But do you want to explain anything about 100 pound and 10 point? Why is there such a big difference in numbers, and why do you switch
Well,
from?
100 pound is more paper, right?
Okay.
10 pound, it's
10
like
point?
stock, or 10 point is what I call stock. I mean, we still call it paper,
Uh-huh.
but 100 pound, like, it would be gloss tax probably.
Mm-hmm.
Real fine, thin, glossy, easy to tear. 10 point is more like
More of a stock.
a thin business card.
How do you explain 100 pound cover?
100 pound cover is 10 point.
So
It's just called two different things.
call two different things. So I
It's
would
duct
just
tape
take
and duct tape.
I would just take a 0 off, and it'd be 10 point.
Yeah.
So 120 is 12 point. 140 is 14 point.
Okay.
Okay?
100 pound cover
It's
is
10
the
point.
same as 10 point.
Yep.
But the 100-pound gloss is just like a thin paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you guys see them there? You guys have them? So a customer calls and says, I want a 48-page book with 10-point cover or 100-pound cover and 100 gloss text on the inside. Does anybody know what that means?
So they want the cover to be slightly thicker than the
Yep.
stuff on
So-
the inside.
So 100 cover out, 100 gloss on the inside.
Mhm.
Okay? If they say I want 100 cover everywhere, can anybody tell me what we're gonna tell them?
Yes, you can.
All right, I will say it. So if they're ordering 100 books and they want 100 cover everywhere, that means we have to run it through our laser printer. What does that mean?
That it's going to be more expensive.
Expensive, but the thing we just talked about,
It's gonna have to be scored.
it's gonna have to be scored, but what would happen if we scored it?
It's gonna be white.
It's gonna crack.
Correct. Yeah.
Crack kills.
But that's only if it's darker. Not if it's white. Because
Yep.
like we did that one book with... But just the cover is folded, right? Oh no, I guess they fold the middle
We have to
pages.
score. We have to score. If we did everything, that it's going to be more expensive because so now we can't run it through our book printer. The printer has a Plockmatic bookmaker. I'm actually going to take you back there and show you what a Plockmatic bookmaker and what it does.
What it do?
What it do.
Do what it do.
So if they said, hey, I want cover on everything, we can't run it through our Plockmatic because a Plockmatic does not score. Okay? So we have to do it all manually. We have to score every page, which is running it through our scoring machine. I'm going to show you that too. We're going to go back there and show you the difference on these. So if they said that, you're going to say, well, the outside cover is going to also crack because there's full coverage. So the best thing to do is say, hey, do you have full coverage, or can I see your artwork? You look at the artwork and you can tell from the artwork how it's going to be. If you score anything with dark, it's going to show cracks. And what do you say about crack?
It kills.
It kills. All right. Did everybody feel the gloss text versus the cover?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions on it?
No.
All right. What's the equivalent in points on a 100-pound cover?
10.
All right. We also have linen, and it comes on a 100-pound. This is like a 100-pound cover, so it is like 10 point, and it's good on postcards, sell sheets, and business cards and menus. There's 70-pound linen. 70-pound linen is thin. You guys want to look at it and feel it? It's to be used on envelopes and letterheads. That's what we use that on.
This for letterhead.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then 100-pound, you saw that too. 70-pound premium uncoated text can also be used on envelopes and letterheads. Anything that's uncoated is going to be a little bit more economical than linen. To me, I can't tell the difference.
Just that you can see the texture in the linen. I think that would be like the difference between like doing a lawyer's letterhead and a
Versus
like a regular business letterhead.
pawn shop letterhead.
Have you ever ran pawn shop letterhead?
Never.
Okay.
Okay?
I mean, there might have been a day.
Okay, so let's talk about stickers. If you guys are done with that. Or should we do stickers by themselves on another day?
I say do them another day because
Okay.
I want to let this sink in. I really want to be able to.
Does anybody have any questions about all the stocks?
It's just gonna take time. I mean, like this helped me I'd like to be. I want to make one of these books for us, like, or make notes in this.
You can make notes in yours. You have one.
Yeah,
Make notes
yours
to
is
it.
the other one is the one with the white spiral is different. So I don't know if we have more of those.
We're working on getting more.
Okay.
Okay, but you can use these
I do really
for
like
notes.
them.
Yeah. You can use them for notes. Does anybody have any questions?
No, not right now.
Okay. Since die cuts, should we talk about die cuts or should we keep that on its own?
No, I'd like to do that another day.
Okay,
I think
perfect.
die cuts would be better to discuss with stickers because we'll talk about cutting them both.
Okay, perfect. So are we done with our training?
Yes.
This concludes our training for today. Thank you for watching.